So I'll make a start by removing this larger branch and the one next to it above the bud graft. Move the camera a bit to get a better shot. See what I've done there. Let's say this is the actual graft here. So I'll just cut. There's a bit of growth coming out there. Just taking care not to try and damage. So I'll snip that back. This part here, I think we can afford to. It's a bit thick really, but. And then there's a bit of a nurse branch here. It's probably about 4.5 foot long, so I'm just going to take it back to about half here. So just really to help draw the sap. And then obviously when the graft has developed stronger, we can then come back and remove this. Then looking down, shrunk a bit, there's some side growths. So I'm just going to take those off as well. Okay, so stepping back, you can see hopefully what I've done. So I've removed all the bigger branches. I've left a nurse branch on, but shortened it by about half. Snipped any other growths off, and there's the graft there. Now let's have a look at this one below that. So I'll make a start by removing this larger branch and the one next to it above the bud graft. Move the camera a bit to get a better shot. See what I've done there. Let's say this is the actual graft here. So I'll just cut. There's a bit of growth coming out there. Just taking care not to try and damage. So I'll snip that back. This part here, I think we can afford to. It's a bit thick really, but. And then there's a bit of a nurse branch here. It's probably about 4.5 foot long, so I'm just going to take it back to about half here. So just really to help draw the sap, and then obviously when the graft has developed stronger, we can then come back and remove this. Then looking down, shrunk a bit, there's some side growths, so I'm just going to take those off as well. Okay, so stepping back, you can see hopefully what I've done. So I've removed all the bigger branches. I've left a nurse branch on, but shortened it by about half. Snipped any other growths off, and there's the graft there. Now let's have a look at this one below that. Okay, so you can see that it's on another sucker that's come up, and again we've got the same little growths here which I'm going to remove, and then coming up just a couple, one there, there's one sort of coming out this way at the back. Difficult to get in. There. That's it. So I'm hoping you can see. All we've got left now is so this is actually Victoria plum. So what we'll do, we'll keep coming back during the summer months, and any other growths coming out from the sucker, we'll just rub those off. And then hopefully by the end of the season, you know, that'll have made a decent bit of growth. So I will follow up on that. Now I'm over on my mate's plot. He's looking very spick and span, I have to say. But it's only right that I show you a couple of fails really. So this is a cherry tree, yeah, cherry, and they weren't too impressed with it. It wasn't really bearing much fruit at all, I don't think. So we said, why not, because they're the same genus, why not pop a couple of Victoria plum bud grafts into it and see if we can get them going. But unfortunately they didn't take. I'm just trying to see if I can find. So there's one. Lots of growth coming out from the original cherry, but even though it's not loose, it just, for some reason, you know, it just didn't get away. I think the other one's this side. There. Again, if you look at it, it's loose at the top. It just didn't get enough contact. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So, unfortunately, though, those were fails. But you know, you've got to show the good and the bad, haven't you? Really. But that said, I think we can have another go. There's room on this part of the stem here. We could probably get a bud graft in there, and on the other side, you know, there's a nice bit of space here. So I think the plan for this is we're going to try again in July, and then if they don't work, we've always got the option of you know, basically just cutting it off and doing some bark grafts. So anyway, again, I'll follow up on that. If we do that, I'll let you know what's going on with that. So I'm down on the micro orchard. I was here yesterday mowing the grass and talking to my neighbour, who he was a teacher, but he's retrained in the last year or two, and he's into horticulture now. So he's telling me that he's got a couple of days up at Brantwood, north Coniston, and a couple of days just on a local park just over the way here, which is really handy for him. So anyway, he wanted me to come and have a look at some of the. He's done a couple of grafts himself, so we went over and had a look, and then I invited him back to come over here and look at some of the grafts I did, which are now in the second year, and some very surprising things. So I'm going to show you now what those are. So this is kind of like a bit of a nursery here, and these fruit trees as I say, they're in their second year, and you can see that most of them have flowered, so I am going to allow a few fruits on there. So when I was just explaining about them, and then I saw this one here and I said, oh, that doesn't look so clever, but it actually has got live buds, but it looks like some canker there, so I'm not sure about that one. It's still alive. I'm a bit worried about this cat anyway. Not to worry. But so this one here and this one over here, I said were two fails, and I was going to bud graft them. So when he was asking me a little bit more detail about the bud graft, I pulled this one out to try and illustrate what I was talking about. See if we can get in closer. I pulled a few weeds out and everything, and then I actually saw that there was a bud graft already in it, and I'd completely forgot about it, and it's just there. I'll just remove this one, hopefully you can see a bit clearer. So just take that lower one out. And we'll take this one behind. So hopefully now you can see where that's the graft was put in there, and it's growing away. So once again, all we've done is just removed any competing growths, and again I'll follow this up, but I'm hoping by the end of the season, you know, this will be sort of up here somewhere making some good growth. And once again, the idea of just to come back, keep an eye on it, if anything grows out again, just rub it off. But I was so happy about that, I completely forgot about that, absolutely forgot about that. So that's another success. Yes, get in. Coming back to this other one, you see there's lots of places on this stem to pop in a bud graft, nice clean parts of the stem, you know. So I'm going to have another go at bud grafting this one in July, and then I'm just going to show you a couple of follow-up things on the whip and tongue grafts. So I've selected this one. If you have a look at the navel, it's Dabinet, high quality cider apple. It's on M106 of pretty vigorous rootstock. Apologies for this, the inadequacy of my camera for close-up shot, but just there is the grafting point. You can see that there's this growth, this branch here is actually coming from the rootstock. It's just below the grafting point. So obviously that is going to compete with the scion, the variety that we wanted to propagate. So we need to remove this one. So once again, just going in with the secateurs. And also there's a little bit round the back there, this one here, you can just rub that off. I might get a knife and just pare that back a wee bit as well, but the most important point is that, you know, it's just a case of following up on your grafts and making sure that there's no unwanted growths coming out. You know, once you're pretty sure that the graft's growing away nicely. And once again, also linking back to the earlier shot, we've got some flowers here, so I'll do the same and just snip those out. So all the energy is going into vegetative growth at this point. Just one more follow up then on these blackcurrant cuttings. I mentioned the last time that I'd showed them that they were flowering, and if we try and zoom in a wee bit, there's actually, you can see just here, little fruits have developed. So once again, we need to get in there and just snip those off, because the plant will be putting a whole bunch of energy into trying to make fruit, which is not the objective at this point. What we want is it, again, making vegetative growth and a strong root system. You can see on the floor there was quite a few actually. I've removed them all now. All I need to do now with this particular bit is get the weeds out, just make sure that they keep getting enough water, and I'll pot them up in the autumn. Well, that's it for this one. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you're liking the content, and any questions, or please drop a comment down below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.